Dom, it's a Tuesday the 13th. Are you scared?
Oh, I'm very scared.
A little bit of a throwback. Happy Halloween, listeners. It turns out Halloween is on a Sunday, so we figure let's change it up a little bit from the last couple of weeks and give you a themed episode. Halloween. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I can't believe it's Halloween already. Time has flown by yet again.
It's true. I didn't really get in the Halloween spirit too much this year because it took forever for the leaves to change. Kind of odd. Around me, it was warm for most of October, and so the leaves were pretty green up until like the beginning of this past week.
I agree. Halloween doesn't feel like Halloween. I guess we're still kind of in that whole change of things a little bit with COVID and whatnot, but I think next year Halloween will feel a little bit more like Halloween.
Yeah, I think so.
Hopefully Christmas feels like Christmas this year.
I hope so. That'd be really sad if it didn't.
Yeah. Well, listeners, Tom and I are going to get right to the point. We are going to do an episode where we have 5 topics each, where we're going to discuss the topic for about 5 minutes. And it's going to give you an opportunity to think about it as well. And you can now have a topic to discuss with your friends and family on this very Halloween or next week. Do you want to go first, Tom, or do you want me to go first?
Why don't you go first?
All right. So what I did here, everybody, is I had a Post-it note and I wrote a topic on the Post-it note, and I have 5 of them, and I put them in a bowl just to be festive, even though no one's watching me crumple them up and put them in a bowl, but I'm going to mix them so you can hear it. And our first topic, or should I say this is like our treat. So our first treat is, I was really hoping this one would be the first one, but it turns out that it is. Rob Zombie is the first topic. I really didn't want that to be the first one, but we'll let him be the first one. So he's a director, and obviously you may know him from way back when he had a band called White Zombie, and then he also went solo. Do you know why he went solo?
Why did Rob Zombie go solo?
I have no idea, actually.
Oh.
Did he just split up from his group, or did he just have much of an ego and wanted to name it his own? I don't know. Who really cares? But this is a Halloween topic, so I remember the first movie that he did, House of 1,000 Corpses, that actually scared me. That was one of those movies that freaked me out. Did you see the whole trilogy, House of 1,000 Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and 3 from Hell?
I did. They were, while I liked the way they were shot, like from a cinematography point of view, the way House of 1,000 Corpses, for example, the way it was shot, the way there was like all this sort of like this like news footage, like in between the scenes as like the transitional things, I thought that was a pretty cool effect. But on the whole, God damn it. On the whole, I think Macho Man fucking agrees, so that's good. But on the whole, I thought that movie was pretty shitty, and all of his movies tend to exhibit the same shitty characteristics. However, I think he has the best remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one of the best remakes in general of like a big Halloween franchise like that.
So don't you mean Halloween? Because it wasn't Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, it wasn't Halloween. It was Texas Chainsaw, the one with R. Lee Ermey.
He didn't do that movie.
Yes, are you sure? I
am sure.
Oh, well then.
He did Halloween and Halloween 2. And apparently they were like gruesome movies. Like he made Michael Myers like this fucking brutal guy.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. He had nothing to do with that one. Maybe that's why it was good. Yeah, all right, then I haven't seen the Halloween movies.
Yeah, but dude, when he did the Halloween remakes, like he made Michael Myers into like a beast in the 80s and whatnot. Like Michael Myers killed somebody with a knife and all of that. But in Rob Zombie's movie, like it was like a brutal kill with a knife.
Huh. Yeah.
But House of 1,000 Corpses actually scared me. That was one of those movies at the time that it came out. I mean, I was younger. And it was a very dark movie. And then Devil's Rejects, no. And then 3 from Hell kind of just sucked. But
House
of 1,000 Corpses scared me.
I never saw 3 from Hell.
Yeah, it's really not worth it.
No.
It for all the hype that it got, it's like you finally got the money to do it, and this is what you came up with.
Well, also, I just want to add here quick. If you notice like a delay between me answering and you finishing a question, I'm doing that on purpose because there seems to be a lag, and I already caught it happening this episode. There's a big lag between your audio and mine. So when that's why it sounds like I'm cutting you off a lot when we listen to it back. So it's not, I'm putting that delay in there so that it doesn't sound like me trying to talk over you before you finish the question, because that's been happening a lot lately. And I noticed it was really bad in this last episode.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out, I guess.
Yeah. So, well, that's why there's going to be like a minute of pause or so before I answer. So don't assume that I don't hear you. I do hear you. I'm just waiting to give the audio time to catch up, because it already does it. It like freezes for a second when you're talking, and then it'll catch up real fast, and but it doesn't actually catch up in terms of syncing itself.
I got you. So we can do a little bit of a pause in between then, rather than go quick.
Right.
The last thing I wanted to say about Rob Zombie, which is going to be a very interesting movie, is he is remaking The Munsters.
Oh, God. He's going to make his wife Lily Munster. I can already see it. Like, God damn it.
He did.
Of course he did. You know, all right. So she's somebody that, I mean, like, look, she annoys me. She looks like the type of person who would, like, I don't know, like eat a bug at the party just to like freak everybody out. Like, you guys want to take a look into the mind of a twisted psychopath. Like, and like, she's just so edgy. And oh God, she's so performative. I can't take her, man. The biggest gripe I have with his movies is that she's in them and she just is constant. She's like the same person. And I don't think she's acting when she does those things. I think I think her life is an act. So she's acting in as much as she would act in an everyday public setting.
In conclusion, Rob Zombie just loves his wife so much that he's going to make her a star in all of his movies.
You know, I guess good for him. That's relationship goals, right?
That's relationship goals. Yep.
Rob Zombie's music, though, not too bad. I can get behind it. You know, it fills a need. So, who's up? Am I drawing a topic now, or do you draw a topic?
No, you go.
You go first?
I say you go. You do. We'll just go back and forth in between topics. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me reach into my candy bowl here and pull out my crumpled up topic. Ooh, this is a good one. Serial killers.
I'm actually watching Hannibal right now, the show from 2013 or something like that. And I have to say, it really gets in the psychology of Hannibal Lecter as a serial killer. So I'm glad they actually came up with this show. And the one thing I will say that I guess I haven't watched the movies in such a long time that I didn't put my finger on this, but Hannibal Lecter eats people that are lesser than him to show his power of intelligence, strength, and wealth.
Oh, that makes sense. So he's like, so he looks at everything as like he almost looks at eating people as like a Darwinian kind of thing, like a survival of the fittest.
Correct. Yeah. So it's like, I am above you. He eats people beneath him.
That is very interesting. You know, I like delving into sort of the psychology behind a guy like Hannibal Lecter, because it seems, you know, obviously in the novel and the movie and all that, you know, he's a very nuanced character. He's deep. He's the kind of guy that you can look into, and you know, he very clearly does have some motivations that are deeper than they might seem. So that's pretty cool. Go ahead. One thing I guess I like about the idea of a Halloween Rob Zombie is that Rob Zombie is not going to try to do that to Michael Myers. And I guess that's kind of nice, because sometimes humanizing a character like Michael Myers or Jason, I mean, you can get into the backstory without like trying to paint them as like this tragic, like, you know, I don't know. I hate when there's a villain that's like cool and you're like, wow, this guy's like a bad guy. And then they go into his villain and it shows like his dad like fucking kicking his puppy and he's like this little kid there with the big sad eyes, like, oh no. And then eventually he just becomes disheartened. It's like, I don't want Michael Myers to be humanized. Like, I just want him to be a bad guy. I didn't want to see him fuck people up.
That I hate when they try to put this whole, even though there probably is a whole psychological thing to it all for every serial killer, but I do like the movies where there's a little bit of mystery behind why. It's even like the Saw franchise. You kind of figured out why he did what he did.
Yeah.
Was it necessary? Maybe, but you could have just, I guess they made like 8 of them, so they might as well go back to a little bit of a backstory. But the first one really didn't get into the whole psychology of that serial killer. It was just Saw, which to me is one of my favorite. The first one is amazing.
Yes. Yeah. The first one was exactly like, it was a great standalone movie. And the rest of the movies in the franchise were just okay. And they obviously got less okay as time went on. They just got real shitty, I think. But if you look at the first movie as just a standalone thing, it was pretty brilliant. But yeah,
I never guessed it. It was the most shocking ending I've ever seen.
Oh, definitely, dude. Yeah. I never saw that ending coming. I think anybody who says they saw it coming is lying to you. Because even nowadays, I think it still holds up. If you showed somebody Saw and they didn't know how it ended, they wouldn't guess. But
and another serial killer that you really don't know the intentions behind it was the Summer of Sam killings. You know, that guy or girl, whomever, just shot couples in the car.
Oh, that was the guy. That was David. Was that David Berkowitz, the son of Sam?
I guess. Yeah. But the movies really never went into the psychology. It was just a man going and killing. Like there was no, this is why he did what he did. It was just the fear of just some person coming up who likes to kill.
Well, he was somebody. I think part of the reason why he was like, I guess, part of the reason why it took so long to catch him was because he seemingly did seem to pick people at random. And like the people he picked all kind of fit profile that he was going for, but they were people he didn't know, and which, serial killer. But there were people he didn't know. They were people in different places and whatnot, but they were all kind of doing the same thing. It was just killer. It was couples he was going after. And yeah, it was hard to know where he was going to strike next or anything like that. That was pretty crazy. The whole, was that the Helter Skelter? No, that was Charlie Manson, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think something to do with Berkowitz, though, I thought had to do with Helter Skelter. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Go on to our next topic because we got quite a few to go and so little time. Let's see here. Which horror movie do you not want to be trapped in?
That is a good question. Horror movie to me that seems like it would be the absolute like worst nightmare to be in would probably be Evil Dead.
Yeah, that's definitely a terrible one to be in, unless Ash is there.
Yeah, if Ash is there, then I'd probably feel a little better about it. But the Evil Dead universe in general is just so chaotic, and the demons are invisible, and you never know what's going to happen. It just seems like mayhem, and it's you're not safe anywhere. So that's.
But if you are in slapstick Ash world, I'm sure there's going to be a point where like he just accidentally cuts you with a chainsaw.
Yeah. And then you go to like jump away from him, and you accidentally rip his chainsaw off his arm, and then you're like and he's like my arm, and then you're just screaming. That'd be funny. What about
and I guess this goes with Evil Dead. I would be afraid or I would not want to be trapped in like Hellraiser.
Yeah, Hellraiser would be a bad time. Although, I don't know, Pinhead would be, I guess, not so bad to have around. Like if you needed it, like if you were a junkie, for example, maybe. No, we're taking that part. No, but yeah, if you were sewing or something, maybe Pinhead would be cool. You could like use him as I don't know. But he's Pinhead scared me. I remember when I was a kid. I used to have I know all I did was see him. I think I saw some of the movies. I was walking through the room or something. My parents might have been watching it. But yeah, Pinhead scared me as a little kid.
Yeah, anything that's mostly demonic and of like supernatural, you wouldn't really want to be stuck in. Like going to Silent Hill, for instance, really wouldn't want to be stuck there because I'm probably not going to make it out.
Yeah, Silent Hill would be rough, right? The roughest part of Silent Hill is that you're in Silent Hill because you did something bad already. So if you're in Silent Hill, you already know why you're there, even if you want to pretend that you don't. So and all the town does is it tries to tell you like, "Oh, this is what you did," and like you feel really bad about it. And so I feel like that there's like a psychological aspect of the town itself that it really make it shitty.
Pretty much anything without a means of being able to escape. Like I will say like a Friday the 13th type situation. It's just like you can get out of it. There is a way to survive. It's just making the right decisions.
Right. Oh, what about It Follows? That one would be pretty shitty. Because I mean, on one hand, you think, oh, it's not so bad. Like the thing walks, right? It walks everywhere, but it's always walking. So you think, oh, okay, well, I'll just take a plane across the ocean. But like, what if it gets on the plane?
If it gets on the plane, you're screwed. What about going on a boat?
Yeah, right. And other people can't see it. So it's not impossible to think it could just like walk up the little stairs they got to go to the baggage claim there and just fall in, like just flop into the into the cargo hold. And like nobody see it.
I think It Follows is a great movie that everyone should watch. And I look at it as the inevitable death that's going to catch you anyway, no matter what.
Right.
I know there's more of a, the little meaning that I guess you get out of the movie that we're not going to spoil. But I do think it's the inevitable death that will follow you no matter where you go. And there's no escaping it at the end of the day.
I like that interpretation because that's a similar interpretation I had. I know that, like you said, there's a lot more of maybe an obvious one that a lot of people seem to get out of the movie, and it makes sense, right? But yeah, I looked at it as like an age type thing. It's a lot more, I guess, existential. At least my interpretation of it was. So I'm glad we were on the same page about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So listeners, ask yourself, which horror movie would you not want to be stuck in?
Yeah. Let's get some responses on the Twitter or on the Facebook page about it. We'll post the stories and whatnot. But yeah, I want to know what types of horror movies and things that you would not want to be stuck in, because I bet a lot of people have some really, really good suggestions. Okay, now on to the next one. This is, damn it. I just ripped it. Okay. This is a good one. Fun size candy bars versus full size candy bars.
So I guess I'm too cheap to buy regular size candy bars to give out trick-or-treaters. So definitely have to give fun size candy bars and stuff out. But once you're the trick-or-treater getting that stuff, I've always wanted a little bit more. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah. As the trick-or-treater, obviously the answer is full size candy bars. But as the adult who purchases the candy now and has to hand it out, yeah, I mean, it's like, listen, kid, like, like maybe if you're in like, what is that Millionaires Row place in New Jersey, Chris? It's like where all the rich people are.
Oh, like Crestkill and Alpine?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a Crestkill kid, then sure, like maybe full size candy bars are coming around, or maybe they're not. Maybe you're getting some kind of weird like, oh, here's an avocado smoothie.
Rich people, the nicer houses tend to give the shittier candy out because they're just annoyed in general that people are knocking on their rich person's door.
Yeah. Oh God, you're getting your heathen knuckle prints on my marble door.
Have a Twizzler. I hated getting fun-sized Twizzlers. I think Twizzlers suck.
There is no fun involved in a Twizzler at all. I hate Twizzlers of both colors. I hate the black Twizzlers and I hate the red Twizzlers.
They're all terrible.
suck.
They're all. I hated getting Smarties and stuff like that. Just give me the chocolate. Give me the Snickers. Give me the Milky Ways, the Three Musketeers. That's all I wanted.
You know, I don't mind a Smartie every now and then. You know, they're okay. They're kind of like they're like a shittier version of a sweet tart. Like, you know, Smarties are sweet tarts. I'm down for sweet tarts. Smarties, like, yeah, okay. You know, all right, I suppose. They're like if you mixed a sweet tart with like some Windex.
Yeah, you know what I remember back in high school for all the people who made fun of me? I'm going to bring them up quick. You know what they used to do? They used to like break up the Smartie and snort them for some reason and think they're cool.
Yeah, that's does that make you a dummy? I don't know. That's the stupidest. Jesus Christ.
It's just why would you do that? Why?
Yeah, it beats the shit out of me. I guess it looks cool, right? But it doesn't look cool. I mean, I don't know. I know. Like, yeah, I remember as a kid pretending like the pixie stick was like a drug of some sort. Like you pretend to smoke it or something, or you take it. You're like, ooh, like I'm all jazzed up now. But yeah, no, I don't know. So in terms of the candy bars, I got to go fun size as well. But that's just because I'm a fun size person.
Yeah, I yes, for sure. For sure. Gotta love candy. God, remember when we used to go out and be able to go trick-or-treating?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine going trick-or-treating now, just you and me. We're like, oh, let's go into costume. I wonder what people would actually say, like, who the fuck are these people? They are weird.
Yeah. They're like, these guys, are these guys allowed to have candy? Where's the person who's supervising them?
What's your costume? Well, I am pretending to be an adult in a costume. That's my costume. I'm actually a child. I'm Jack. Remember that movie with Robin Williams? Just yeah. That'd be
a costume that you know, if an adult showed up at my door and they were dressed like that with like, you know, like Robin Williams with there's that scene where he's like wearing like the gray like trench coat and stuff. If they were dressed like that and I said, "Oh, what's your costume?" and they were like, "Oh, I'm Jack." I'd be like, "You know what, man? Take some candy, dude. Yeah, you nailed it."
But I don't want fun size. Can you get me the regular size, please?
Get off my porch. my costume is Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. Get off my lawn.
Great movie. Movie. All right, let's move on to the next topic. What do we have here? All right, best horror trilogies. Discuss overrated and ones that sucked or could have been better.
Trilogies, huh?
So trilogies. So anything with 3 or more, I guess. I thought the Scream movies were good. 1, 2, and 3 were very good. The 4th one was like meh, and now they're coming out with a 5th. I'd say they all kind of went in the right direction. There's not one that I can say kind of sucked. They were all just kind of it was really good, and then meh. The 4th one was just meh. But still, I think it's a horror trilogy that was kind of successful. Unlike I Know What You Did Last Summer, which copied it. They had like that one movie, and then like the rest of them kind of sucked.
Yeah. I Know What You Did Last Summer. The first one was pretty decent, and then they all got shitty after that. I agree. I thought Scream was pretty good. Nev Campbell. You know, I was just talking with somebody. I don't remember who. About Nev Campbell. Like Nev Campbell was like a big deal in the 90s. Everybody kind of forgets about her. I feel like she has like the Alicia Silverstone effect.
Yeah, she was in that movie Wild Things.
Yeah.
It's not a Halloween movie, listeners, but if you just want like a good steamy movie to watch one night, just watch Wild Things with Nev Campbell, Matt Dillon, Denise Richards, and who is the other one in there?
I don't remember. I was gonna my favorite Nev Campbell movie was The Craft. That's a Halloween movie.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon was in it.
Yeah, he was in Wild Things. I'm gonna watch that.
Kevin Bacon's he's a good Halloween actor. He's been in some scary movies. Stir of Echoes, right? That was a good one. But in terms,
Stir of Echoes was a good Halloween movie. Yeah.
But in terms of a trilogy where they definitely could have done better, was Child's Play, for example. First 2 Child's Plays were okay. But then it very rapidly started getting ridiculous after that. Like the third one was Bride of Chucky, right?
No, the third one was the one when they went to the like the bad boy camp or whatever, where Chucky replaced the paintball gun paint with bullets.
Yeah. Okay. So like that was funny.
But overall, that just got worse. Like they made like a like what was scary almost to like a comedic kind of thing.
Yeah, I get it. You know, it's at a certain point you run out of like scary things to do. But I don't know. I think that the Child's Play, because the first one was legitimately made to be a horror movie. It wasn't trying to be like campy.
No, exactly. The first one was there was like no humor in it at all, and then like they kind of just went the comedy route, and then you got like Seed of Chucky, Bride of Chucky, where it's just what the fuck is this?
And then did you notice too, like as the movies went on, like Chucky started, I don't know, it's almost like he adopted a lot more of like a Jack Nicholson like type of delivery. I think it was Bride of Chucky in the very beginning. He strangles the guy in the business suit. And he strangles the guy, and then he's like, nothing like a little strangulation to get the circulation going again. And it's like, oh God. So that's one of those things that always stuck out to me.
You're trying to do those little one-liners. The Texas Chainsaw Massacres, they kind of got worse when they started redoing it. Like you mentioned earlier before, that was a good one. And then it all just kind of went downhill from there. Like they just got stupid.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like they just try too hard, a lot of these movies. Jason was the same way, right? I liked the first couple of Jason movies, but when Jason started going to Manhattan and when he went to space, like forget it. Like you talk about jumping the shark, you literally jumped the shark all the way into space.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even the Friday the 13th movies, not Friday the 13th, the Freddy Krueger movies, like they kind of got a little silly too.
Yeah.
At one point, it's there, they're really milking it. The Saw trilogies, like I actually enjoyed most of the Saw movies, but they kind of got a little like they didn't spend money on the actors at one point, where it's just this is just terrible people that you have in the roles. Like if they got good actors, it would have worked. The Final Destination movies I thought were all pretty good.
Yeah, they were good. They were done well. You talk about a trilogy, we mentioned it before, but Evil Dead, I thought, even though Evil Dead took on a lot more of a slapstick comedic angle, I thought as the movies went on, even though that by the time you get to the third movie, it is incredibly different from the first, I still thought all of them were done pretty well, which is very uncharacteristic of Sam Raimi. So I have to give him credit there because I think he sucks. But we'll get into that. I have another topic like that.
Great. So listeners, you should find the trilogy to watch this week before Christmas because, Halloween is for the full month of November for horror movies too. And find yourself a nice trilogy to watch.
Yes. Trilogy of Terror.
All right, on to the next one.
You remember the doll from Trilogy of Terror? Oh my God, that was my favorite. I wanted one of those when I was a kid so bad.
Of course you did.
I did. I wanted the little guy. That was my favorite. God, I love that thing. Anyway.
On to the next one. Oh, is this? No, that was me. So you go.
No, that one was me, wasn't it? Oh, that was you. That was you. So what?
That was me.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see what I'm dealing with here. Oh, this is a good one. Scariest type of movie monster.
Scariest type of movie monster.
So
they were all pretty fucking scary.
They're all pretty scary. I think for me personally, before they were done to death, I always thought zombies were the scariest one.
See, zombies to me, I feel they're always been implied that they're killable. Therefore, they really didn't scare me as much. I am afraid of like demons, like just a fucking demon. Like that would like, the Ring Girl. I mean, I look at her as a demon, like she's a supernatural demon. So anything that's like supernatural where you really can't kill, I'm petrified of. I mean, I was not scared of the Ring, but I'm I'm scared of that type of supernatural demon because I feel there's no I'm not smart enough to figure out how to what is it? Her name was Samira, right? I wouldn't be smart enough to figure out how to kill Samira.
Well, yeah, I guess maybe what makes zombies would give zombies the edge to me over stuff like demons, which is probably my second choice. But the thing with the demon is in most movies, you got to do something specific to piss off a demon. Like you got to move into their house or something, or you gotta do something that's gonna make the demon mad, and then you could just stop doing that thing. But everybody has this righteous reason to persevere in the face of this thing in the movie, and it just I don't think I feel like it's easily avoidable enough. A zombie thing, you have no resources. Yeah, I mean, other than the ones you find or scavenge or whatever. And then you're not only at the mercy of the zombies, which are just this sort of force that's perpetually trying to break into wherever it is you're hiding or just get you somehow, but you've also got other people to deal with who are gonna take on some pretty shitty characteristics.
Then I'm going to go with inbred cannibals.
What was that? What was that movie? Wrong Turn?
Yeah, I am afraid of inbred cannibals. You're right, because I wouldn't watch that fucking tape. I would not watch the Ring tape.
Right.
If somebody was, you should watch this, I'm going to be like, no. First off, it's 2021. I am not watching a tape.
Yeah. Like, no, this is either like homemade snuff film or homemade porn. And either way, I don't want to see it.
So I would go with I'm afraid of inbred cannibal.
Okay. Well, that's fair. Another one that I think is scary enough would be, I guess, with the thing in It Follows, be a demon, like kind of not a demon, but like an undead.
It's a spirit.
Okay.
It's a spirit of some sort. It's like I want to say it's a ghost, but it's like it's a spirit that I don't know.
I mean, because well, at that point, would you consider like Final Destination thing to be kind of a demon?
Final Destination to me is death itself. It's actual death. You just don't see him.
That's interesting.
Or herself. Sorry, listeners. To be
right. Don't misgender death.
That's like, I got the biggest cock in the room.
Yeah, imagine like maybe that's what we got to do. Maybe we just have to personify death, and then death has to come out and be like, whoa, hey, like no, my genders are he and him, and I'm super straight. And then we cancel death, and that's how we all stay alive forever. Immortality.
Ooh, I'm also afraid of Joe Biden.
You hear like rambling in your closet at night. Well, listen, Jack, come here, fat. You get up out of that bed, man, and you're like, no, Mom.
The other thing that I would say is kind of scary was, and the movie itself wasn't scary, but the concept was mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes.
Like there's not really a way to escape that.
That's one of my favorite horror movies. I love the ending of that one too. The ending was so great. But yeah, that was a movie that I thought was done pretty well. And I have another topic like that, but yeah, I thought there were some really, really good scenes in that movie.
Yeah, there's no escaping that. And the Resident Evil zombies are also the type of zombie where they're a little bit more supernatural. So I can argue again and say, if we're talking supernatural zombie type, that is pretty petrifying, and I wouldn't want to be involved there either, because there's certain zombies like the Walking Dead zombies, not really that afraid of. Day of the Dead zombies, it is what it is. Then you have Dawn of the Dead remake where they run. That's a little scary. They're still killable, but the running is like not good.
28 Days Later type zombies, those are pretty scary because they're not undead in like the normal sense where you think of like this shuffling like robotic kind of thing, like in Dawn of the Dead, for example, the first one, the George Romero one. They're like made into like this predator, like a predatory like beast, and that's pretty scary to think about.
Speaking of predator, I would not want to be on a spaceship with the aliens, the Sigourney Weaver aliens.
Yeah, they're pretty scary.
And even if like you fight one and they have acid for blood, so no matter what, it's like you just need to escape. There's no fighting them.
Yeah, you're better off hiding.
So, listeners, Tom and I want you to think what villain or monster you are mostly afraid of. On to the next topic.
Mirrors was scary because when I look in a mirror, I'm scared.
Stupid. Okay. So I wrote The Woods. So maybe you'll agree with me with this. I think The Woods in general are scary. And I did put here specifically at night. Now, in movies, what the fuck is that?
Fuck is what?
I don't know. I heard some like weird, like while we're doing this episode, Paranormal Activity like takes over.
We just
and
accidentally
it's like the last podcast we did.
we accidentally record an EVP. I'm the demon in Tom's house.
So anywho, the woods. I actually think the woods are pretty fucking scary. And the reason why is in movies, right? You see people running in the woods from someone, and being someone that like lives in the woods now, you can't run in the woods. No. You can't actually run from something. There is so much shit on the ground in the woods, and the amount of stuff that falls. So when you're like in the woods, you need to look down, you need to look up. It's almost like it doesn't even need to be a killer in the woods, because the woods can kill you.
Yeah.
The woods are scary in and of itself. I mean, most of the time, like us, when we see woods, we're by the exit, like we're by the clear land or the road. But imagine just being in the middle of the woods where you're blindfolded, dropped off. And when you make your decision to start walking, like let's just say there's only one direction that's the right direction. And if you don't go in the right direction, like you're stuck in the woods.
Yeah. The woods are pretty scary. I also think recently there's been a big resurgence in like the idea of like skinwalkers and stuff like that all live out on like the plains, like the prairies and in like, New Mexico or whatever, like desert-ish kind of areas. I'm sure I'm fucking all that up, but you get what I'm saying. And so yeah, there's like, I remember there was a video of a guy, he was on his horse. I'm sure it was all fake, but the guy was on his horse and the horse starts like the horse starts bucking like it's scared of something, and it starts like kind of freaking out, like it doesn't want to go down this path anymore. And the guy's on the edge of his ranch, and it's like a big ass ranch. He's probably out in the middle of nowhere, and you just hear like this totally normal female voice just off past the clearing. Like it's not a clearing. It's like where the edge of the path is, and then it kind of turns into like higher grass and whatnot, or just some sort of foliage. And you hear like her go, hey, come here. And like the fucking horse takes off, and the guy's on the horse. So that the guy's like, holy shit, and like something like that is fucking that is absolutely terrifying to me, to think that you'd be out in like the desert and there's nobody around. And then like, there's this thing out there that could just sound like a normal person. Like, get out of here with that. So I think any vast expanse of nature in general is scary, but at least in the desert, you could probably run. Whereas in the woods, yeah, you can't.
If the sand is not wet, it's probably difficult to run. And if you probably have to take off your shoes in this desert to run, because if you're wearing shoes, then you're going to get the sand in the shoes and it's going to mess you up balance wise.
Yeah. And there's nowhere to hide. That's the woods at least have coverage. You can hide in, thicket, but you can't, there's nowhere to hide in the desert. Unless you bury yourself.
They should have Jason in the desert.
Yeah. Oh, man, think about that. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That's one thing they have not done. Friday the 13th, Las Vegas.
Jason shows up on like a camel. They're like,
I can see it now. It's a bachelor party that goes completely awry, where they accidentally kill a stripper. And it's like 7 or 8 guys. Maybe like 3 or 4 other, you got to have girls in there. So like, maybe there's like 3 or 4 other girls there. They accidentally kill someone. They have to go in the desert because they all think that they're going to get in trouble. And they accidentally wake up Jason in the desert. And at one point, somebody gets beat with a slot machine.
Yeah. He's like ramming his head into the slot machine, and then it like fucking hits the jackpot. And then Jason holds his mouth open as all the coins spill out, and the guy's like, like he fills up with coins. And then when he throws them down, the guy's like,
all sci-fi needs to do is give us a call, and we'll give you a couple of great ideas. Jason goes to Vegas. Freddy Krueger goes to a self-help retreat where people are trying to sleep better.
Oh, man. That'd be great, right? Yeah, think about it. Like, I'm going to try and manifest positivity in my dreams. And Freddy Krueger's there. Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, the leprechaun goes to Cancun.
The leprechaun goes to Epstein Island.
Oh God! Yeah, he's taken there by mistake because they think he's a kid.
That'd be great. Oh, I want to give you a wee little kiss, do ya?
And then there's like Chucky gets delivered by Wayfair by mistake with like a rich person's piano or some shit.
If they don't fucking make that joke in the next Chucky movie, I'm gonna fucking punch the director. He just pops out of a fucking he pops out of like a fucking entertainment center or something, and he's like, "Ha! What did this get delivered by Wayfair?" If they don't fucking do that, god damn it! This is why Sci-Fi needs to give us a call because we're just fucking.
They really do.
Good
they
idea
really
factories
do.
right here. We're just churning this out. Okay, so on to the next one then. Is that's me, right? This one? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
People wonder why my life has so little structure. I can't even remember. Can't even remember his turn.
It's okay.
Jesus. Okay. So this one's kind of in line with what we were just talking about. Most iconic / favorite scenes in horror, like just horror movies in general. Horror. So I'll go first, right? I think one of my favorite examples, and now I hate Steven Spielberg, right? I wouldn't even go as far as to say I just dislike his movies or dislike him. I think he sucks. I think he's overrated, and the fact that he was ever let into Hollywood is just the failure of somebody to be an effective bouncer that day. But in terms of iconic scenes in horror movies, and I guess he didn't direct Poltergeist, though. He was just one of the producers. But that scene in Poltergeist where the guy rips his face off in a mirror, I thought that was fucking great. That is a great horror movie scene.
And what's crazy is that was a PG movie.
Oh, yeah. There was all kinds of crazy shit in that. The parents were just smoking weed in the beginning. Like Craig T. Nelson just lighting up a doobie with his big-haired wife. It's like, whoa, hello. Like, this type of parenting's a little different than what I'm used to.
My favorite scene, I wouldn't say it's my favorite scene, but the most shocking scene that I was not expecting in a horror movie was the movie Ghost Ship. Literally, like the first 5 minutes of the movie. I will never forget that. That is, I think, one of the most iconic scenes. When you think iconic death scenes in a movie of something you are not expecting, like most horror movies, you almost expect the person to die when you see them, but I was just not expecting that at all.
Right. Yeah. There's like a building tension usually that makes things scary. But yeah, that scene, that was, and I mean, it was brutality. It wasn't just like, oh, somebody dies and it's like, like the first, 5-minute teaser of an American Horror Story episode or something like that. Like, no, like this was absolutely fucking, oh man. Yeah, that was a crazy scene. I thought that was really good. It was done pretty well.
And then another spoiler for a scene that, and this is a spoiler, everyone. What shocked me, do you remember Deep Blue Sea with Samuel Jackson?
Yeah.
That was the most I think that may have been the most shocking death I've seen. More so than Drew Barrymore in Scream.
Yeah, that part with Samuel L. Jackson, I think, got everybody because nobody, you can't. There is no way you could see that coming. There's none. I think they deliberately did it that way. They made the entire movie look like it was going to be a certain way. And then when that happened, it was like, holy shit.
He gave such a great speech, like a motivating, uplifting speech.
And you know what's the funniest part about that is like, if you go back and actually look at it, the surprise of that scene does a lot to compensate for the absolutely terrible CGI.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that said, I mean, what was that? Like 2002, that movie? Might have even been earlier.
Something like that. Every time I think of Thomas Jane, I say to myself, he had the opportunity to be the main guy in Mad Men and decided, I am not a TV actor. I am a movie actor. And clearly that was a big mistake on his part.
Yeah, that didn't work out for him, did it? Oh, another scene I want to just hit on quick here. Because I just recently found out that there actually is like a meaning behind it. The Shining. That you remember that scene in The Shining where Shelley Duvall goes up the stairs and she looks, and in the one room there's the guy on the bed and he's getting blown by the guy in the dog costume, and like visually it just makes no sense, but it's very off-putting the way they both just stop and look at her and she just runs away. Like. So I actually found out there is a meaning behind that scene, and it's because I read the book. But in the book, yeah, it's an allusion to something that happens in the book that isn't really discussed in the movie. The book goes a lot into the owners of the hotel, like the guys. You know, the picture that Jack Nicholson looks at, where it's all the guys together at like the Overlook Hotel in like 1914 or whatever, and they're all the rich guys there and whatnot. The book goes a lot more into the actual like history behind the owners. And so one of the owners had a guy that he liked to dress up in a dog costume and make him pretend he was a dog so that he could have like control over him. And that was it. I mean, it wasn't.
Well, that makes a lot of sense to explain that in the movie. I mean, that's the one thing with like what's his name? Stephen King and all of his books. Like his books are like literal paperweights. And you try to make a movie. It's very difficult to make a movie out of his books to explain everything.
So I thought it was, but I like, a lot of what I thought made The Shining so effective was that it didn't necessarily care if there were times, like obviously it explained the main story. It did everything well in that regard, but also it didn't really care if there was stuff going on that was just incomprehensible, because what it was supposed to really try and capture was this feeling of like a descent into madness. And so if you're going insane, you're not going to be able to rationalize everything that happened. So like that scene I thought was really good at and like the elevator full of blood, that was another really good scene. It's just, there's no explanation for that. There's no way to make that, part of the story or anything like that. But it's just a visually kind of captivating thing where it gets your attention and it's like, holy shit.
All right. So let me get on to my last topic here. And this one's actually one for us to work together, Tom. So Chris and Tom are hired to put together a Halloween 3-course meal for dinner. Appetizer, dinner, and dessert. What are we making? So obviously red wine.
Right. Yeah, that's a standby.
Okay. And then appetizer.
Let's see. Well, no, you got to have some kind of green drink too, right? Because you got the red for the blood, but then you also got to have like the green, like the spooky blood.
Ooh, so maybe like the green Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
So we have the alcohol for the red wine and the green Kool-Aid.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, you could put gin in the green Kool-Aid too. It'd probably be all right. But
well, if it's us, then yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Dos Equis green, or no, better yet, just get regular beer and just put everybody gets a green like a food dropper, like that with a drop of food coloring. A little dropper, so they could put a little drop of green in there.
Oh yeah, there we go. So we got the green drink, we got the red drink. Awesome. We could do mozzarella fingers. Mozzarella fingers for the appetizer.
Yeah.
Dip in the red sauce. So fingers dipped in the blood.
You got to get the olives with like I don't know, the little thing in the hole so that it's like an eye, like an eyeball, olive eyeballs.
And then I would think like a corn chowder soup with like the black tortillas.
What's that supposed to be?
I don't really know, but for some reason I just think corn chowder and black tortilla is Halloween to me.
I suppose, yeah. But the entree is the one that I'm really hung up on here.
I'm thinking ribs, a sort of like burnt ribs.
Okay.
Like they got, like you bake them first and then I don't know, you got to get them over fire so that like they get very crispy on top, but definitely ribs. I think is like the main thing that you need to eat with your hands. You're not really using a fork or anything like that.
Yeah, you got to eat them with your hands. Yeah, I guess you could have like I was trying to think like
the side I would say you do Brussels sprouts.
You could have like burgers or something, but like you make them scary somehow. Like I don't know, you put like red dye in the center of it so you eat it and it's like blood, but that would be gross.
No, like we do Brussels sprouts and they're either like eyeballs or testicles.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Brussels balls.
Brussels balls. Yeah. And then I would say you do mashed potatoes, but maybe put like a dye in there, like a different color.
You could make them. Here's what you could do. Hear me out. You take the mashed potatoes and you shape them into like brains. And you put like a little bit of pink dye in there, and then you eat brains.
Perfect. So, and then dessert, I'm thinking like a blood orange sorbet.
Yes. Yep.
And then obviously like tarantula cake or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, you get like a nice big black chocolate something.
Yeah, big chocolate tarantula cake, and then it's got maybe it's got like green frosting like in it, like the venom.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. And so that's our Halloween meal. And then it's poisoned, so whoever eats it dies.
Yeah, the main course is actually just a human being. It's whoever shows up last. I can't wait to serve you for dinner.
I'll still never forget the one Hannibal movie where he's like, I'm having an old friend for dinner. And it's just like, I see what you did there. You're eating your old friend.
Like, oh, you rascal. Hungry boy.
And then, Tommy, you have our last topic.
I do. So the last topic is horror directors. I mean, you got to give, oh, Jesus Christ. What is his name? John Carpenter. Yeah, you got to give John Carpenter. No, Wes Craven. He's the one I was thinking of. Got to give Wes Craven a little bit of credit. I thought he was really good. John Carpenter, obviously. Sam Raimi. No, Sam Raimi is a bad one. I think Sam Raimi's movies suck. And I get how influential he was. I get how important, he was to the genre with the Evil Dead and all that. And sure. But watch any other of Sam Raimi's movies and tell me they're not shit.
No, I agree. I completely agree with you on that one. 100%. I don't consider him a good horror director. How about James Wan, the Saw creator, and then he did that movie Malignant. I thought that was a pretty damn good movie.
Yeah, James Wan is all right. He's another one. I feel like if he's given too much freedom to do stuff, if you give him too much of a budget, he's gonna fuck it up. But if you keep his budget low and you force him to be kind of scrappy, he'll make a pretty decent movie.
Overall, though, I think today's worst horror director award would go to Eli Roth. I think he sucks.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Eli Roth, I think.
He's definitely someone that thinks his shit is really good, and it's just like you did one movie that was different at the time, but then it really didn't age well either. Cabin Fever. That was like the movie that got him out there. And it's like, it really wasn't that great. It's about a flesh-eating disease. Like that was really it. Yeah. With like a hillbilly or two that wanted to kill people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Eli Roth is such a, oh my God. I think he is one of the most overrated directors of all time. And the fact that he's held in anything but like contempt, the fact he's not looked at with the same sort of, condemnation as like a Uwe Boll or a fucking, Christ, even that fucking guy who did The Room, right? I think Eli Roth is an absolute hack, and I don't know why and I'm saying maybe he's a nice person, and maybe that's it. Maybe he's just such a nice person. Everyone's like, oh, we'll give him a movie, sure. But as far as his movies go, I have never seen a good one.
Yeah, Uwe Boll doesn't even count. I don't even think he gets classified as director.
Yeah, I don't.
Like he can't even be discussed in this. Like at least Eli Roth did a couple of movies that made money, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Uwe Boll has pretty much consistently made movies that did not make much money. Although he did do, what did he do, Blood Rain or something?
Yeah, but that was awful.
Well, I think it was awful, but it probly made some money.
I don't think it did.
It was a flop.
Think about it. The biggest name that he got was Michael Madsen.
His Reservoir Dogs royalties were drying up.
But I would say Wes Craven, John Carpenter are probably like one of the better horror movie directors.
Yeah.
They created some of the iconic horror movies, like, you have Scream, because I think Wes Craven did Scream. John Carpenter obviously did Halloween. James Wan did the Saw movies.
You know who else you got to give a shout out to is George Romero, and particularly the guy who did a lot of the art direction on his movies, Tom Savini. I was watching a thing lately where they were talking about the special effects in like Night of the Living Dead, for example, the very first one, and then Dawn of the Dead, the one that came out in the 70s. Now, those were both of those movies were very, very low budget. They were, for all intents and purposes, they were basically indie movies, right? And the first one especially. But when they shoot the zombie in the head, for example, and you see like the blood and everything come out of the front of their head and then they fall down. You know how they actually did that? They tie a quarter to a string and tape it to the person's head and then cover it with a little bit of prosthetic and some fake blood behind it. And then when they shoot the person, they yank it off quick and the fake blood pops out and the prosthetic skin rips off, and and then usually the person's got a little dye pack or something on the back of their head that someone will hit a button and it'll but that's how they did that. And so those guys had some really genius ways of making a movie, even though it was low budget. And I guess they didn't do a whole lot of like staging. They would just kind of like walk around the mall, for example, and be like, oh, this looks like it'd be a cool place to get shot. Like, let's do this. Like, oh yeah, look here, like chew on this boot or something like that. They did a lot of it just kind of unscripted and organically. But yeah, stuff like that. When I heard that's how they did it, I thought that's really cool. Actually, like I wouldn't think
they took a little bit of a direction out of Alec
somebody's
Baldwin's
head.
book.
Yeah. Oh God.
No, let's save that for another. Let's save Alec Baldwin for another episode.
Let's save him for another episode.
No, that is really cool though. Actually, very creative way of making that work. Yeah. In a time where like there weren't a lot of special effects and CGI and all that. Right.
And back then, everything was prosthetic back then. And then, a lot of the big budget movies had, they had a whole props team to make prosthetic stuff like that happen. And these guys, meanwhile, it literally cost them 25 cents and whatever it was in fake blood.
Amazing. Well, listeners, this was a Halloween episode. We hope you enjoyed yourselves, and it gives you some topics to talk about this week with everyone else who enjoys Halloween. And if you want to get back to us with a couple of your favorite horror movies and your favorite directors and most iconic scenes, we would love to hear from you on our Facebook page or our Twitter page.
Definitely.
Tom, you have a great week.
Hey.
I love you
too. I hope you have a very spooky season.
Spooky week. Don't look under your bed tonight, listeners. There's probably somebody under there.
Yeah.